Disclaimer: this is for educational use only. Our group grants permission for our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardines, to use this as educational material. No copyright infringement is intended.
So, good day everyone. Let us begin with a simple but powerful question. If a financial crisis begins in the United States, why it affect Asia? If carbon emissions rise in one country, why do island nations suffer? If a virus emerges in one city, why does the whole world shut down? So the answer is interdependence. So we live in a world where borders exist politically, but problems do not respect them. So this reality gave us to what scholars call contemporary global governance. So the systems through which global problems are collectively managed. Today, our presentations aims to achieve the following learning outcomes. Learning outcome 1. Identify the role and functions of the United Nations. Learning outcome 2. Identify the challenge of global governance in the 21st century. Learning outcome 3. Explain the relevance of the United States amid globalization. So, to understand global governance, we must first understand the ideas that shape it. I now pass the discussion to presenter 2.
Internationalism versus globalism. Before global governance developed, there were competing worldviews about international cooperation. According to Andrew Hewitt in Global Politics 2017, internationalism believes sovereign states cooperate through diplomacy, treaties, and institutions, but the states remain as the primary actors. It is rooted in liberal political thought, which argues cooperation reduces conflict. However, globalism, as defined by Manfred Steiger in Globalization, a very short introduction goes further. Globalism sees the world as a single interconnected system through economically, culturally, technologically, and politically. For example, global supply chains connect factories across continents. Social media spreads political movement globally. Financial market operates 24/7 across border. Here is the key difference. Internationalism equals the cooperation between states, while the globalism equals deep structural interdependence between borders. This shift from cooperation to interdependence created pressure for a more complex system of management. That system is what we call global governance.
What is global governance? Global governance does not mean a world government. James Rosenau defines it as governance without government, meaning systems of rule and coordination even in the absence of central authority. The Commission on Global Governance described it as the sum of the many ways individuals and institutions manage their common affairs. This includes states, international organizations, NGOs, multinational corporations, and lastly is civil society networks. Why is this necessary? Because global issues like climate change, cybersecurity, migration, and global pandemics cannot be solved by a single country. For example, during COVID-19, even powerful states depended on global vaccine production networks and World Health Organization coordination. Global governance exists because sovereignty alone is no longer enough, but who actually carries out this governance?
Institutions of global governance. institutions provides structures to global governance. According to Thomas Weiss and Rorden Wilkinson in International Organization and Global Governance, institutions helps reduce uncertainty and promotes cooperation. Major institutions include United Nations, which peace and security, World Trade Organizations, which regulates global trade, International Monetary Fund, which stabilizes global finance, World Bank, which develops financing, and regional bodies like the European Union and ASEAN. For example, the World Trade Organization dispute settlement system resolves trade conflicts between countries instead of allowing economic relatation. The International Monetary Funds provides emergency financial assistance during economic crisis, like during the 2008 global financial crisis. These institutions helps create predictability in international relations. However, the most central institutions remains the United Nations.
The United Nations was founded in 1945 to prevent another world war. Its main functions include maintaining international peace and security, promoting human rights, encouraging social progress, and facilitating international cooperation. According to Thomas Weiss, the UN cooperates through several organs. The Security Council authorizes peacekeeping and sanctions. The General Assembly is where countries discuss global issues. The International Court of Justice settles legal disputes, and the Economic and Social Council coordinates development programs. A real-world example is UN peacekeeping mission in conflict areas such as Mali and Lebanon. The UN also created the Sustainable Development Goals, which aim to reduce poverty, improve education, and protect the environment. Through these efforts, the UN shapes globalization by creating shared norms and global standards. However, despite these efforts, the system will still faces serious difficulties.
Global governance faces structural and political challenges. Danny Rodrik in The Globalization Paradox 2011 argues that we cannot simultaneously have deep economic globalization, strong national sovereignty, full democratic politics. This is called the political trilemma. Other major challenges includes number 1, power inequality. Developed countries dominate decision making. Number 2, weak enforcement. Institutions rely on voluntary compliances. Number 3, rising nationalism. Many states prioritize domestic interests. Number 4, geopolitical rivalry. US to China tensions affects cooperation. Number 5, climate coordination failures. Despite agreement, emission continues. For example, the Paris Climate Agreement depends on voluntary commitment. This shows global governance lacks centralized enforcement. This leads us to ask, can global governance truly be effective without stronger authority?
Effects of globalization on governments. Globalization reshapes how governments operate. David Hill argues that globalization reconfigures but not eliminates state power. Governments now adjust their economic policies to attract global investment, follow international trade rules, cooperate in global security networks. However, globalization also creates vulnerability. The 2008 financial crisis showed how interconnected economics can transmit shock rapidly. Small states, especially developing countries, may have limited policies flexibility due to global market pressure. So, does globalization weaken the state? That brings us to our final analytical section.
Despite globalization, the state remains central. Stephen Krasner argues that sovereignty has changed, but states still control territory and legal authority. Even global institutions rely on states for funding, implementation, enforcement. For example, the UN cannot deploy peacekeeping forces without state approval. The WTO cannot enforce trade rules without member cooperation. Thus, globalization transforms the state, it does not replace it. The modern state is both national and global in function.
Synthesis and critical reflection. Today, we explored how global governance emerged from increasing independence. We analyzed competing ideas. We defined governance. We examined institutions. We evaluated the UN. We discussed challenges. We assessed globalization's effects. And we affirmed the continuing relevance of the state. The tension between global cooperation and national sovereignty remains unsolved. So we leave you with this. In a world of shared risk, should governance remain primarily national? Or must it become more global? That is the core debate of the contemporary global governance. Thank you.